guys, what's up? It's Joe Ready from Ready's Rides. I'm back here at Audi of Wesley Chapel in Wesley Chapel, Florida, and we have another Audi. This is a totally redesigned 2019 Audi Q3. Let's talk a little bit about the Q3. The Q3 is their smallest SUV, that crossover compact utility vehicle. It really allows people to come into the Audi brand at a value type of price point. What's great about the 2019 Q3 is that they've actually made it larger. So even though it's their smallest in the lineup, because you got the Q3, the Q5, Q7, the Q8, this is the smallest. For 2019, it's actually larger. So let's go ahead, dive into this 2019 and see what really is different. Right off the bat, new styling on the front end of the business, and I'm liking it. Like the design of the headlight housing. You got your daytime running lamps, LED of course, LED headlight. Little bit of chrome treatment inside, I think really gives it a nice upscale feel. Blacked out all the rest. Here's something very interesting. Look at how we have that design in the headlight housing and how it correlates to this crease in the front fascia. Very nicely done. Drop down, I'm zonking this. Massive fake vent. This could have been a functional air curtain, could have put some fog lamps in here, or how about this? Not even have it here at all. So I am gonna zonk it. As we work our way down, a nice kind of built-in low lip spoiler gives it definition from this portion of the front fascia down to the lower portion. Now, as we come across the front, you're gonna notice that this is about an inch wider than the outgoing generation. Love the massive open Audi grille, this brushed aluminum finish. You got the iconic, those 4 rings from the Auto Union, those 4 German manufacturers that got together during the World Depression so they wouldn't go out of business. Flat black on the bottom, and I like the flat silver. It's interesting how you add a little bit of flat silver and this design, it makes it look a little bit more rugged, even though how many Q3s are really going to be going off-road, at least on purpose. Now, as we go up on top of the hood area, I really like what's going on with the design. You have very nice body lines right in the center here, and then just some subtle bends that kind of go all the way back towards the windshield. That's the thing in this class. There's a lot of competition, and you gotta do what you gotta do to really stand out. Now, as we come around the bend, I like the way there's no flat black. There's no flat black around the fender treatment. Wheels, this is your standard wheel for your Q3. Brushed, not even brushed, it's a silver finish to it. 18-inch wheel. I'm gonna zonk it, it's a little bland. I feel like Audi wheels, especially their base wheels, they need to do something with the styling. Little bland, but hey, you do get those 4 rings. You are driving an Audi. I like though the way that there's plenty of space between the top of the tire and the inside of the fender. It does have a nice stance to it as it sits here in the parking lot. Now, as we go down the side, check this out. Love this body line. In the fender and then down into the door. Very nicely done. They took that beautiful black sapphire paint, brought it onto the side mirrors, little slim and trim LED turn signal, and then I like the brushed aluminum not only around the windows but also the roof rails up top. Really gives it a nice classy luxury look to it. Even some body line into that lower sill area down here just gives it enough pizzazz that makes you look at it again, take a second look. Like the rear quarter window here with that brushed aluminum, and then coming off the rear, that crease that then comes, almost makes it look a little flared out into the tail area. Very, very low roof spoiler, and then clean. Nobody does it better really than Audi when it comes to their headlights and their taillights. Full LED. As we drop down, they brought some of that silver finish into the rear. Now here's gonna be the biggest zonk. Are you ready for it? Watch my hand. The exhaust test. Fake exhaust. Why are they doing it? I have no idea. There is obviously an exhaust pipe underneath, but just leave it alone. If you don't want to have anything, just leave it silver. So that really is going to be the major zonk on the back of the Q3. But let's go ahead, pop the hood, and see what we're working with power-wise. All right, guys, we got the hood popped on the Q3. There really should be something very familiar. That is that 2-liter inline-4 that we have seen in other, not only Audi products, but also Volkswagen, of course, because remember, it's all under the Volkswagen Group banner. That is that inline-4 turbocharged engine, 2-liter, 228 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. It's all mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. This Q3 weighs about 3,450 pounds, 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. That's actually over a second faster than the outgoing Q3. And you're gonna get okay gas mileage, 19 in the city and 24 on the highway. Like I was pointing out earlier, this Q3 is actually going to ride a lot better because it has a 3-inch longer wheelbase, and the actual Q3 from stem to stern is 3 inches longer as well. One thing that's very fascinating I've noticed is just how low this frontal area is and how low that engine is sitting in the chassis. Obviously that's going to help with handling dynamics. I always like popping the hood on an Audi or Volkswagen that has this engine because you can clearly see the turbo near the firewall. And as a car enthusiast, that's what we like to see. But let's go ahead, fire up this Q3 and see what it sounds like out of those fake exhausts. All right, guys, we're inside the 2019 totally redesigned Q3. Now remember, it's over 3 inches longer. That 3-inch longer wheelbase, that means you're gonna have a lot more room in here, and I can feel the difference, I really can. Now I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, I wanna get into an Audi. I don't have 80 grand to drop. How much is this one? MSRP, the way that this Q3 is optioned, is $42,000. Let's see what you get to the door panels. Now, I like what's happening with the door panel because it's a breakup of color. You got that darker brown, which looks really tasteful, with the silver, and then that brushed aluminum across the top portion of the door panel. I love the way it kind of blends right into the handle to open up the door, and just the design behind that handle, it looks really, really good. I like what they've done with that overall design. B&O sound system with the nice attractive speaker cover, soft material on the dash. You can see just how much room I have. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of headroom, even with a panoramic sunroof. I like the wood grain. I love the Quattro badge, that all-wheel drive that is synonymous with Audi. I don't like this spot right here. I'm gonna zonk this spot extending out. I wish that they would have kept it a little bit more flat. Very, very sexy infotainment system. I usually don't use that term very much when it comes to infotainment, but I like the gloss black as long as you don't touch it, and this silver trim, and then everything else is just nice touch setup. You could get your Audi Drive Select. There's your Q3. You got your different modes: off-road, comfort, auto, dynamic. You go back to home, real nicely done. Obviously Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You have your navigation, all that kind of stuff. Very, very easy to use. Very good response, and very, very clear graphics. Now, as we drop down, dual climate control, nicely placed, easy to read. You have your start-stop button, which it's smart because look, this is all flat black. They know your fingers are gonna be going here. So if you touch there and you miss the button, no big deal. You're not gonna get a fingerprint. You're just not gonna start it up. You got your volume for your radio, some nice toggle switches. You could go into Drive Select here if you don't wanna do it on the infotainment. I'm zonking this area. I wish there was a cover. Just a nice silver cover would have gone a long way. Wireless charging for your phone, 2 USBs. This is going to be controlling that 8-speed automatic. So I like the leather. I wish they would have brought some brown stitching to kind of contrast nice with what was going on with the seats. I wish it said Audi or something. It's looking like it's missing something. I wish there was just something a little bit more. Flat black on the cup holders. If you want to see your key fob, very similar to a Volkswagen. It's got the key that's tucked in, but it is keyless entry, and you do have the buttons on the back. No lid on the cup holder. That's another zonk. You got your 12 volt all the way over here. So if you want to run a radar detector, the wire's got to go from here to the windshield. Obviously electric e-brake, a little cubby probably for a piece of Hubba Bubba or Bubbalicious gum. I don't even know if they still sell that, but if you're my age, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Very nice soft armrest, same color as the seats. Open it up, nothing fancy, but hey, you could stick your belongings in there. A big bag of change. You need a big bag of pennies, put them in there, close that up. What's also nice is look at that, it extends. Boom, boom, boom. Seats, they're very supportive. Not the sexiest of Audi seats. We all know that Audi does some mighty fine seats, but they do have some nice stitch work. They are heated, they're not ventilated, and they're full power assist, of course, which is a nice touch. Tons of headroom, frameless mirror, and a panoramic sunroof. Really nicely balanced out, I think, with the options. But why don't you get over the business side? Because I'm telling you right now, that TFT display is mind-blowing. Come on over. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. There's no memory settings on this Q3 the way that it's optioned. Steering wheel, though, is that traditional, good-looking Audi steering wheel. Now, it isn't flat bottom or anything like that, but I like the brushed aluminum, tractive horn button with the open grille design, auto union badge, nice flat black buttons and knobs, and then there really is the cherry on top. That TFT display, over 12 inches, beautiful. The Google Maps, so clear. You got your speedometer in the lower right, tachometer in the lower left. It tells us that we're in dynamic mode. That's what Audi does really well. I really think it's so smart that you have that smack dab right in front of you so you don't have to take your eyes off of the road. Just a slight glance goes a long way. But let's go ahead. We've talked about up front. Let's see how your passengers are gonna be loving this Audi Q3. All right, guys, that backseat time. This is where you thought there was plenty of room up front because of all the changes by extending the wheelbase, extending the length, widening it, raising up, making it higher. Back here, you really can soak it in. Now, just so you know, you do have a harder material on the back of the seat. I know a lot of people with kids like that. I'm zonking the net. I don't like this net. It just does not look like it belongs in an Audi. The seats, though, are supported back here. There's plenty of room. You do have this armrest. Got the cup holders. I don't know why they can't just put like regular cup holders. I feel like this is something that your kids will probably break after 5 tries. One thing I forgot to point out, look at how smart they engineered a little cubby hole right here. So you could put like, I don't know, you could, if you're being healthy, you could put a banana here, or if you want to not be so healthy, put a couple Twinkies right there, and it's like easy access for both sides of the vehicle. You got a little command center here, 2 AC vents. Here's what's nice though, they got you covered, 12 volt and 2 USBs. So that's a nice touch. I just hate these plugs. You know how I feel about that. Headroom back here, 6 feet Joe Rady, tons of headroom. I like the way the panoramic comes back just enough, but it's not gonna blast you with the heat. Why don't we go ahead though? Let's check out that cargo area and see, does the Q3 have any room? All right, guys, let's check out the cargo area in this Q3. Push the button, it's electric assist, it's fast moving. Quite a bit amount of room back here. I like it. I like the little pockets on the sides, which are nice, and there's plenty of space, even with the seats up. Now, of course, those seats are gonna do the 60-40 split. And remember, those seats are reclining and sliding as well. And I'm just gonna go ahead, pull on the lever, down it goes. I'm gonna run around and see if I can get the other side before Tom wants to wrap this up. You got a nice little tether right here that you're gonna pull. Look at that. Now there is, if you notice, a rise. So take that into consideration. But if you also notice that this rear cargo area, this has that shelf system. So there's your spare. This could actually be lifted out and you could raise it so that it is a little bit more flat. But why don't we get to the best part? Yeah, putting stuff in your Q3 is awesome. Let's go ahead, take this one for a spin. All right, guys, we're rolling out of Audi of Wesley Chapel. We're in the 2019 Q3. Right away, I feel so wonderful behind the wheel. And what I mean by that is the seats are great. They're really holding me perfect. And I obviously did use the electric assist to get it to fit to my body, but it's the pressure points really perfect so that you could do that longer drive and not feel worn out. Now I do have it in dynamic mode, and I just love looking down at that virtual cockpit that Audi does so wonderfully well. Visibility out the front is great. Even out the back, I was a little concerned with the rear glass being on the smaller side just because this is a smaller CUV, but works great. Out the side view mirrors and side windows, very, very nicely done. Like the thickness of the steering wheel. That's another thing that Audi just does so well every single time. Their wheels are just spot on the money. But let's go ahead, I'm gonna get on throttle. That 8-speed drops down. Shifts are very firm and direct. The car feels nice and balanced. It really does. It feels lighter on its feet than I initially thought. And so far, steering feels good. Let's see how it goes through this roundabout here. Got that all-wheel drive system. Nice, coming out. Very planted, very secure. Could the steering have a little bit more weight? Sure, but this is not some RS model or something like that. It's a Q3, but it's doing the business well. That all-wheel drive, I'm telling you, Audi's all-wheel drive system, that Quattro system, is just so wonderful how it balances where the power's going. It's so smooth. Look at this. I'm impressed on how this is handling, but I shouldn't be surprised because at the end of the day, it is an Audi, and Audi takes that great engineering that they've learned from winning 24 Hours Le Mans, tons of different sports car races and everything else, and puts that in the DNA of each and every one of their models. All right, guys, so looking out over the winch, over the dash, it's not too high. It could be a little bit lower, but I'm all right with it. You just gotta adjust the seat to get a little bit better visibility out over the hood, but I am just enjoying driving this like it's a driver's type of little CUV. And then when you get on the throttle, that 228 horsepower feels pretty good. Remember, that's the same amount of power as in a GTI. On the brakes, just to show you, can you hustle a Q3? Heck yeah, you can. So handling dynamics are really on point. Could I use a little bit more feedback to the front wheel? Sure. A little bit more weight? Sure. But it really isn't that much more than what you would think. I think really my biggest zonk when it comes to amenities, I would like to have ventilated seats. I mean, I know Audi's trying to keep you at a certain price point to get you into their brand, into the Audi family, but ventilated seats would go extra well because these seats are really wonderful overall when we look at all the other parts to it. But hopefully this gave you a nice roundabout overall feel of what this Q3 is all about. We're gonna go ahead, get back to Audi Wesley Chapel and wrap this one up, so I will see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another wonderful time. The breeze is picking up here. Mother Nature is starting to kick in here at Audi Wesley Chapel. I definitely got to thank Chris, Mike, and Adam for getting us access to this all-new 2019 Q3. It's up to you. Get down here, take one of these for a spin. I think the new Q3 is going to surprise you and allow you to come in at a great price point into the Audi family. And then, hey, you know what they say, there's only one way to go, and that's up from there. But if these are the types of things that you like to see on the channel, leave a comment in the comment section. If you are new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description, get yourself some Raise Rise merch. Got to give it up to Big Guns McGee, Tom Moschner. He's out here making sure that he's keeping his diet on point because he's got his powerlifting competition coming up in just a few short weeks. So Tom, best of luck, represent Raise Rise well, and just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.